I stumbled back into my apartment, suitcase clutched tight in my hand after 3 grueling months away. Every single day of that long Boston assignment, I daydreamed endlessly about this exact homecoming moment. All I craved was to walk through that door and fall back into the warm, loving life I'd built with Claire, until her cold, empty gaze shattered every ounce of my excitement in an instant. Claire stepped out from the hallway and froze the second her eyes locked onto mine. "You're finally home," she murmured softly. "I'm home," I replied with a hopeful smile, but her face held zero warmth, no trace of the joy I'd spent months anticipating. A sharp twist of unease twisted in my chest instantly. "What's wrong?" I asked quietly, sensing heavy tension hanging thick in the air between us. Claire pressed both hands gently against her stomach, her posture rigid and unyielding as she prepared to drop a life-altering secret. "I have something I need to tell you." My heart squeezed tight with dread, every nerve in my body screaming that this was not the happy reunion I'd imagined. "Are you okay? What's going on?" "I'm pregnant," she said plainly, no hesitation, no softness to cushion the blow. For several long, stunned seconds, my brain refused to process those devastating words. "What?" I blinked in pure disbelief, certain I'd misheard her. "I'm pregnant, Ethan," she repeated firmly, her voice steady while my world started to crumble. I stared at her in utter shock, my mind racing a mile a minute to make sense of the impossible news. "Pregnant? Are you sure?" "Yes," she nodded without meeting my eyes. I slowly set my suitcase down on the floor, my hands growing cold and shaky with growing confusion. "Claire, we haven't been together in 3 months. I left for Boston 3 months ago and I've been gone ever since." "I know exactly when you left," she mumbled, gaze fixed on the floor to avoid my searching eyes. "And before I left, we were together for the last time. That's 3 months of zero contact, zero time spent together." "Exactly. So how on earth can this baby possibly be mine?" I asked, my voice tight with hurt and mounting suspicion. Tears instantly flooded Claire's eyes, glistening bright as she fought to hold them back. "Because I love you," she whispered shakily. "That's not an answer, not even close. Love doesn't explain an impossible pregnancy timeline, and I needed the real truth. Do you really want to do this right now?" She sounded defensive, guilty, like she was desperate to avoid this conversation at all costs. "I want the truth right now more than anything." I refused to brush off something this huge and life-changing. Claire swiped a stray tear off her cheek, her facade cracking little by little. "I found out I was pregnant during my vacation." I blinked hard, completely thrown by her vague explanation. "What vacation? You never told me about any vacation." "My trip to Miami," she clarified quietly. I froze on the spot, my confusion spiking even higher. "Claire, I was never in Miami. I was stuck working in Boston the entire time you claim this happened." "I know you weren't," she admitted without hesitation, and that only made the entire situation infinitely stranger. "Then explain this to me. Explain how you're pregnant when we haven't been together long enough for this to be possible." Claire walked slowly across the room and sank down onto the sofa, her shoulders slumping in defeat. "I thought you'd be happy for us." "Happy? How can I be happy when none of the timeline adds up? A baby would make me overjoyed, if the circumstances weren't impossible." Hurt flashed clearly across her face, like she genuinely believed I was being unreasonable and cruel. "You were gone for 3 whole months, Ethan. I was lonely, so incredibly lonely without you here. I had no one while you were away working nonstop. Lonely doesn't create a pregnancy, and I couldn't shake the gnawing confusion settling deep in my bones. I left for Boston purely for work because we needed the extra money to build a better future for us. You always choose work over me no matter how much I need you by my side," she shot back, voice thick with resentment. "I called you every single night without fail, but late-night calls could never replace having someone physically there." Guilt flared up inside me instantly, yet it was completely overpowered by the growing suspicion clouding my mind. "I get that you felt alone and abandoned, Claire. But loneliness can't explain this impossible situation." Claire abruptly stood up from the sofa, her temper flaring fast as she turned the tables on me. "Why are you treating me like I've committed some terrible crime? You came home and immediately started interrogating me. I'm not accusing you of anything. I'm just trying to make sense of a story that simply does not add up. You already think I cheated on you, don't you?" Her eyes glistened with fresh tears, putting on a perfect hurt act. "I don't think anything yet. But something clearly happened and I deserve to know the full truth." Claire shook her head in disbelief, her tone sharp and accusatory. "I can't believe you're doing this to me right now. I'm not trying to fight. You should be asking if I'm scared, if I'm overwhelmed by all this. I'm asking you. I'm trying to understand every detail of this life-altering news. No, all you care about is figuring out whether this child belongs to you. That's all you can think about. Because I need to know the truth. Claire locked eyes with me and stayed silent for several drawn-out seconds. The baby is yours. You heard me, I told you this happened during my Miami vacation. Claire, I was not present in Miami with you. You don't have to be beside me every single second for this to be true. My stomach lurched with unease at her cryptic words. What exactly are you trying to say? Claire quickly shifted her gaze away, avoiding my intense stare. I mean, we were still connected even while apart. That is far from a proper explanation. You're acting as if I've betrayed you behind your back. I'm reacting like a man who just heard something that defies all logic. Claire turned toward the kitchen, attempting to escape this difficult conversation. I need a glass of water. I followed closely behind her, lowering my voice to maintain a steady tone. Claire, please just be honest with me. What is it you want to ask? When exactly did this pregnancy start? I don't know the precise date. You don't know? The doctor only gave me a rough time frame to go off of. What estimate did they give you? Around 12 weeks. I froze completely where I stood. 12 weeks. Yes. I silently ran through the dates in my head. 3 months abroad, 12 weeks of pregnancy. All these numbers crashed together violently inside my mind. That was long before I set foot back in this city. Claire nodded slowly in confirmation. Yes. And I was already away in Boston at that time. Yes. If that is the case, this child cannot be mine. Claire's whole expression hardened instantly. Are you accusing me of sleeping with another man while you were gone? I'm only pointing out that the timeline does not line up. So you don't trust me at all. I want tangible proof to settle this uncertainty. Proof? Do you want me to take a medical test? Claire, step a little closer to me. You want a DNA test carried out before the baby is even born? I need absolute certainty before I move forward. You are absolutely unbelievable. I am terrified, Claire. Claire's anger faded for just a fleeting moment. Terrified of what could happen next? Terrified of raising a child that isn't my own. Terrified of losing the woman I love more than anything. I am terrified of uncovering proof that everything we shared was nothing more than a lie. Claire stared down at the floor quietly. Do you honestly believe I am capable of hurting you in such a horrific way? I no longer know what I am supposed to believe. My phone buzzed loudly, breaking the heavy tension filling the room. It was Marcus. I answered the call right away. Marcus. Ethan, you're home now? Yeah, I just walked in. Good, I wanted to check in and see how you're holding up. I glanced sideways toward Claire, my heart heavy. Something terrible has come up. Claire is pregnant. An awkward silence stretched out on the other end of the line. Congratulations, Marcus. I haven't been near Claire for 3 months. The silence grew even longer and heavier. Ethan, do not make any hasty promises tonight. I had no intention of rushing into any decisions. Good. Take the time to find out all the facts first. Claire looked straight at me. Who is that on the phone? It's Marcus. Why are you discussing our private matters with him? I am confused and I need another perspective. Marcus spoke again through the speaker. Ethan, listen carefully. Do not sign any documents. Do not agree to marriage. Don't make heartfelt promises while your emotions are spiraling out of control. I understand exactly what you're saying. I brought the call to an end. Claire's face turned cold and rigid. Marcus thinks I am lying to you. Marcus thinks I should verify every single detail of this story. You trust Marcus far more than you trust me. Tonight, I don't know who I can trust anymore. Tears filled Claire's eyes once again. I waited patiently for you to come home. I know you did. I imagined you walking through the door and pulling me into a warm embrace. I dreamed of that moment too. I planned to break the news of our baby to you happily. I wish your story made logical sense. Claire stepped forward until only a small distance separated our two bodies. Do you want to build a family? Yes. Do you want to have children someday? Yes. Do you still love me? Yes. Then marry me, Ethan. My breath caught sharply in my throat. What did you just say? Marry me, Ethan. Claire, we only just started talking about this unexpected pregnancy. A decent man takes responsibility for what he has created. I stared at Claire, feeling like the ground was shifting beneath my feet, altering my entire future. Claire, I need the complete truth first. Then you can prove you are a good man. I glanced down at the suitcase I had carried home filled with hope. For the very first time, this apartment no longer felt like home. Give me one night to think everything through. One night for what purpose? To sort out all of my chaotic thoughts. There is nothing to overthink. There is everything to weigh carefully. Claire shook her head in disappointment. If you walk away tonight, Ethan, you might lose me forever. I might have already lost you without realizing it. What do you mean by that? I need clear answers before I hand you my future. You promised me forever. I did promise you that. Then keep your promise to me. I intend to keep every promise I can honor. What promise is that? The promise to uncover the whole truth. Claire turned away from me. I reached down and picked up my suitcase. I spent 3 long months dreaming about returning here. Now I start to question whether I truly knew who Claire was all along. I barely managed to sleep after Claire demanded we get married. Every single time I closed my eyes, those 2 words echoed endlessly inside my head. 12 weeks. By 6 o'clock the following morning, I sat at the kitchen table with my laptop open wide in front of me. I began by checking my calendar entries. March 4th, Boston. March 11th, Boston. March 18th, Boston. March 25th, Boston. April 1st, Boston. Every single entry confirmed the same thing. I was far away from home. I unlocked my phone and scrolled through our old text messages. Claire, I miss you terribly. Me, I miss you too. Claire, this Miami trip will help me unwind and relax. Me, enjoy your vacation. Send me photos. Claire, I will. I froze mid-scroll. Miami. I read through the conversation a second time. Claire, when exactly did you leave for Miami? Claire lifted her mug of coffee and glanced up at me. March 22nd. Who booked your flight tickets? Why does that detail matter so much to you? Just answer the question honestly. I booked the flight by myself. I opened my laptop to check my work records. March 22nd fell on a Wednesday. So you told me Miami would only be a weekend trip. Claire frowned deeply at my accusation. My trip started Wednesday and ended on Sunday. That is not what you told me originally. I might have forgotten to mention those extra days. You forgot 4 whole days? Ethan, why are you interrogating me like this? Because I am desperately trying to piece together a coherent timeline of events. Claire folded her arms tightly over her chest. The timeline is simple enough to understand. I traveled to Miami. I came back home and later I found out I was pregnant. When did you find out the news? Early April. April 3rd. Yes. Yesterday you told me it was April 7th. Claire fell silent instantly. A tight feeling settled in my stomach. Now you can see why I have to keep asking these questions, can't you? I was terrified when I found out. Dates blur together when someone is overwhelmed with stress. I wrote the date down the moment I learned the news. Who traveled with you on the trip? My group of friends? Which friends exactly? Why are you pushing me on every single detail? Because I need honest answers. You have already made up your mind that I cheated on you. I have not reached any final conclusion yet. You treat me like a dishonest liar. I am simply verifying all of the available facts. Claire pushed her coffee cup aside roughly. Facts. Our relationship should never require this kind of investigation. I wanted to believe that with all my heart. I wanted to shut the laptop, pull Claire into my arms, and pretend the night before had never happened. Instead, I dialed Marcus's phone number. Marcus picked up quickly. Tell me you did not propose to her. I did not. That is a relief. I need your help sorting this mess out. Come over to my place. I drove to Marcus's apartment, bringing my laptop, cell phone, calendar, and every message I could locate. Marcus read through all the evidence slowly. Ethan, stop arguing back and forth with Claire. I'm not arguing with her. You are trying to force Claire to admit something, and that tactic will get you nowhere. What should I do instead? Build a complete timeline from scratch. I have already started working on it. Then finish it thoroughly. Flight information, text messages, work logs, hotel receipts. Only rely on hard facts. Do not let your emotions cloud your judgment. I nodded in understanding. Marcus pointed toward my phone screen. Take a look at the messages sent on March 22nd. I opened our chat history. At 8:14 p.m. Claire sent a message, wish you were here. Marcus frowned. What time was your flight that day? Boston to Chicago. I attended a work dinner starting at 7. Check your airline confirmation emails. I searched through my inbox and found the document immediately. I turned the screen toward Marcus for him to read. Marcus scanned the flight record. You landed in Chicago at 6:42. That means I was thousands of miles away from Miami. Precisely. A strange sense of relief washed over me briefly. Then another message caught my eye. Claire, Miami is stunning tonight. Marcus stared at the screen in quiet thought. Do you notice anything strange about this message? What is it? Claire wrote the word tonight. Check the timestamp attached to the text. I did exactly that. March 22nd, 11:51 p.m. 3 hours after my flight landed in Chicago. Marcus leaned back against his chair. That message was sent from Miami. How can you be certain? Location data from the message. My hands turned icy cold. So Claire truly was in Miami during that trip. Yes. That still does not prove anything about the pregnancy. You are right, but it proves Claire has already altered parts of her story to suit her needs. I drove over to Olivia's house next. Olivia opened the front door and pulled me straight inside without hesitation. You look absolutely exhausted. I barely slept a wink last night. Come in and take a seat. I laid out the complete timeline for Olivia to review. Olivia read every line without making a sound. Ethan, listen to me carefully. I am listening closely. Love does not demand you ignore obvious reality to protect someone. I know that. No, you still do not fully grasp it. You keep trying to shield Claire from the truth. I still love Claire deeply. You can love someone and still ask difficult, necessary questions. I looked away from her gaze. I am scared of losing Claire forever. I understand that fear. Olivia gently held my hand. If Claire truly loves you, she will also want the truth to come out. I nodded slowly. When I returned home, Claire was waiting for me inside the apartment. Where were you? You were with Olivia. You talked to everyone else instead of speaking openly with me. I need space to process everything. What you need is trust in me. I need consistency in your story. Claire pulled a folder out from her bag. I visited a doctor earlier today. My heart skipped a beat in panic. What doctor? The doctor handling my pregnancy. Claire opened up the folder and showed me an ultrasound scan image. This is our baby. I stared at the tiny shape on the paper. For one painful second, all my worries faded away completely. Ethan, look at me. I lifted my head to meet her eyes. Does this image change your mind about everything? I honestly do not know. It should change everything between us. I wanted it to change everything. Claire moved closer to me. Marry me. I swallowed hard to steady myself. Claire. Say yes to me. I looked back toward the paperwork on the table. The ultrasound report displayed a clear date. April 9th. I read the date twice to make sure I had not misread it. Claire, you said you found out you were pregnant on April 3rd. I did find out around that time. Then why does this report state the pregnancy was confirmed April 9th? I might have gone back for a follow-up appointment. You claimed this was your very first visit. Claire froze in place. No, I only said I discovered the pregnancy in early April. You specifically told me April 3rd. I was confused and mixed up the dates back then. I tilted the paper toward the light to read smaller text. Another line caught my attention instantly. Estimated conception date. March 18th. My heart stopped beating for a moment. March 18th. Claire's facial expression shifted rapidly. Yes, I know you were already in Boston by that date. I am aware. Then how can this child possibly belong to me? Claire reached out to grab my hand. Ethan, please listen to me. I pulled my hand away from her reach. No, Claire. I need honest answers. You are destroying the family we could have built together. I stared at the medical report laid out before me. The dates were no longer confusing. They were completely impossible. For the very first time, I wondered if the pregnancy was only the start of all her lies. I recalled Claire's first words the night I returned home. You're finally home. Back then, I thought I heard relief in her voice. Now I recognize something far different, fear. Once more, I thought about March 18th. Claire sent me a message that night. Sleep well. I love you. I replied from Boston, I love you too. I stared at those old words until my eyes began to burn. If the medical estimate was accurate, my whole understanding of Claire crumbled to pieces. I had no clue who the real father was. I had no idea why Claire chose to lie to me repeatedly. But I knew one thing for certain. I would never marry Claire until every single secret was brought into the light. I placed the medical report flat on the kitchen table and waited. I waited for Claire to acknowledge the date printed clearly on the paper. March 18th. Explain this date to me, Claire. Claire stared blankly at the document. I already gave you an explanation. No, you did not. Claire has given me 3 separate dates so far. I was confused at the time. You were confused when you said April 3rd. You were confused when you said April 7th. Now the report says March 18th. Pregnancy timelines are only rough estimates. Then why did you hide this report from me for so long? I did not hide anything at all. You left it tucked away inside a folder. I simply forgot about it. How can you forget about the ultrasound scan? Claire folded her arms defensively. Why are you doing this to me? Because I need the truth more than anything. What you need is to trust me unconditionally. I trusted Claire faithfully for years. Right now, I require solid evidence to believe her words. Claire's eyes hardened with anger. Fine. If Ethan wants to accuse me, you can explain everything to both of our families. Explain exactly what? That Ethan abandoned a pregnant woman carrying your child. Anger surged through my body so fast that my hands started trembling. I never abandoned you, Claire. You left for 3 months for your job. You always pick work over me. I called you every single night. That does not make up for your absence. It matters to me deeply. Claire stepped forward aggressively. Other people will believe my side of the story. I stared at the woman I once planned to marry. Perhaps they will. What does that statement mean? It means I am finished begging you to tell me the truth voluntarily. Claire fell silent. I lifted my phone and dialed Marcus. Marcus, can you come over right away? I'm already on my route. How did you know something was wrong? I could hear it in your voice. 20 minutes later, Marcus walked into my apartment and glanced at the papers spread across the table. Show me everything. I handed over the medical report. Marcus read the information twice. March 18th. Yes. And you were in Boston at that time. Yes. Then stop arguing back and forth with Claire. I know that is pointless. Marcus opened my laptop. Let us look through the photos from Miami. I pulled up Claire's vacation photo album on the screen. Marcus scrolled slowly through every picture. Beach shots, hotel lobby, restaurant, swimming pool. Nothing suspicious at first glance. Wait. Marcus stopped scrolling at a photograph taken inside a restaurant. Zoom in on this image. I enlarged the picture. Claire stood close to a glass window, smiling toward the camera lens. Marcus pointed at the reflection on the glass surface. Who is that person behind her? I leaned closer to the screen. A man appeared in the reflection. Black jacket, dark hair, a silver wristwatch. Recognition crashed over me. Ryan Mitchell. You know Ryan? Claire introduced Ryan as an old friend. When did Ryan become an old friend? Before my work assignment, Ryan attended an event at Claire's company. Did Claire introduce you two formally? Yes. What did she say about him? Claire told me Ryan assisted her on a marketing project. Marcus zoomed into the image once again. Look at the date stamp on the photo. March 21st. I stared at the screen in shock. Claire told me her Miami trip started March 22nd. Marcus looked straight at me. Why was Ryan in Miami on March 21st? I have no idea. I opened Claire's social media page and found more vacation photographs. Marcus studied each post carefully. Someone else took these photos. I assumed hotel staff captured them. Pay attention to the shadows in the frame. I zoomed into another photograph. A man's hand appeared near the edge of the frame. The same silver watch was visible. Ryan. Marcus nodded firmly. That definitely matches Ryan's watch. I felt something crack deep inside my chest. Maybe Ryan traveled separately and they met by pure coincidence. Maybe. Maybe it was just an accidental encounter. Maybe. I turned to look at Marcus. You do not believe that story either. I only believe tangible facts. I pulled up an older photograph taken at a company dinner. Ryan stood beside Claire. I remembered that night clearly. Claire smiled and said, Ryan is just an old friend. Back then I laughed off the comment. Now that memory felt toxic and bitter. I called Claire on the phone. Where are you right now? What do you want? I need to ask you one question. About what? Ryan. Silence filled the line. What about Ryan? Was Ryan traveling in Miami with you? No. Are you completely certain? Of course I am certain. I found Ryan in one of your vacation photos. That could be any random stranger. I know exactly what Ryan looks like. Claire's breathing changed noticeably over the phone. Ethan, you are becoming obsessed with this. Was Ryan present in Miami? No. Then why can we see Ryan in your hotel photograph? I do not know. Why does he appear in a second picture as well? Stop this line of questioning. What? Because this conversation is starting to feel cruel. Cruel? Yes. I'm only asking about the man you called an old friend. Ryan means absolutely nothing to me. Then you should have no trouble explaining the photographs. Claire hung up the call abruptly. I stared down at my phone screen. Marcus spoke quietly. That reaction tells you everything. It tells me Claire is terrified of the truth coming out. Then we need to gather concrete proof. I completely agree. I searched online for private investigators and found Nathan Brooks. I dialed the contact number listed. Nathan Brooks. Yes, speaking. My name is Ethan Carter. I need assistance investigating a relationship. Do you have any preliminary evidence? I have dates, photographs, message records, and a name. Ryan Mitchell. I froze for a second. How do you know that name? I am familiar with him. Can we arrange a meeting tomorrow morning? I need information sooner than that. Then send over all the materials you have collected. I sent every file to him immediately. An hour later, Nathan called me back. Ethan, I found a travel record that you need to see. My heart began pounding wildly. What record is it? Ryan Mitchell booked a flight heading to Miami. When? March 21st. I closed my eyes slowly. He arrived on March 22nd. Yes. Where did Ryan stay during the trip? The exact same hotel as Claire. My stomach dropped completely. Are you 100% sure? I have verified all booking information. Can you send documentation to prove it? I can provide all the paperwork. Please send it over as soon as possible. Nathan paused for a moment. There is more information you need to hear. What is it? Ryan traveled back home on March 26th. I glanced toward Marcus. Claire also returned home on March 26th. Nathan replied calmly. Correct. I felt the last piece of my denial fade away. Thank you, Nathan. We are only just beginning to uncover everything. I ended the phone call. Marcus watched my expression carefully. What did Nathan discover? Ryan traveled to Miami alongside Claire. Marcus let out a heavy sigh. I looked back at the photograph again. Claire was smiling brightly. Ryan stood behind the glass window. I once believed that happy smile belonged solely to me. Now I realized something far worse. This secret had started long before I ever suspected anything was wrong. I shut my laptop closed. I'm not going to confront Claire again right now. Marcus nodded in agreement. Good choice. I want to collect all the truth first. I glanced at Ryan's face displayed on the screen. Only then will I decide what justice truly means. For the first time since Claire announced the pregnancy, I was not afraid of losing Claire. I feared learning exactly how much Claire had already taken from my life. I opened my calendar once more and marked March 18th through March 26th. These dates no longer looked like ordinary days on the calendar. These dates marked the doorway leading to a truth Claire tried desperately to bury. I knew crushing heartbreak waited on the other side of that doorway. Yet I also understood I could not turn away from the truth. Not anymore. Not after everything I had witnessed. Nathan sent all the evidence files at 7:14 that evening. I opened the first folder with trembling hands. Ethan, are you ready to view all of this? Nathan's voice echoed through my phone speaker. No. Then take all the time you need. I need the truth no matter how painful it is. You have the truth. The real question is whether you can handle everything you are about to see. I opened the first saved message thread. Claire, I miss you. Ryan, I miss you far more. Claire, Ethan thinks everything between us is perfectly normal. Ryan, let him keep believing that lie. My stomach twisted with disgust. I continued scrolling through the messages. Claire, when Ethan comes back home we can start executing our plan. Ryan, marriage. Claire, exactly marriage. Ryan, and the money. Claire, Ethan has enough savings to erase all of our troubles. I stopped breathing entirely. Marcus, come over here quickly. Marcus rushed into the room immediately. What happened? Read these messages. Marcus took my phone and scanned the conversation. Ethan, do not read any further. I need to see everything. You already know enough to understand the situation. No, I need every single detail. I opened another message exchange. Claire, this baby will make Ethan stay with me. Ryan, what if Ethan demands a DNA test? Claire, I will make Ethan drown in guilt. Ryan, and if guilt fails to work? Claire, I will tell everyone Ethan abandoned a pregnant woman. My hands went numb. Marcus looked toward me. Ethan, set the phone down. I cannot do that. You are hurting yourself by continuing to read. I need to find out how long this deception has been ongoing. I kept scrolling backward through the chat history. March 2nd. Claire, Ryan, I love you. Ryan, then leave Ethan. Claire, not yet. Ethan is still useful to us. I felt sick to my stomach. Useful. Marcus lowered the phone away from my view. Ethan tried to breathe normally. I truly loved Claire. I know you did. I planned an entire future together with her. I know that too. I trusted every single word she said. Marcus sat down beside me. Do not let this betrayal destroy who you are as a person. I let out a bitter laugh. Destroy me? Claire has already accomplished that. No, Claire hurt you deeply. What you choose to do next defines you. I opened another folder of evidence. Nathan located hotel records, restaurant receipts, and more private messages. One single message made my chest ache fiercely. Claire, Ethan will propose once I tell him about the baby. Ryan, perfect. Once the wedding happens, everything changes for us. Claire, exactly as we planned. I closed my eyes tightly. They planned my marriage from the very start. Marcus nodded slowly. They constructed your future entirely around your money. I stood up and walked toward the window. I want revenge. Marcus stayed silent, listening carefully. I want Claire to feel every ounce of pain I am experiencing now. You have the power to make Claire suffer. I want Ryan to lose everything he has. You can ruin Ryan as well. Then why are you advising me to slow down? I'm not stopping you. I only ask whether revenge will bring you peace. I turned to face him. What choice will give me peace? Protecting yourself first. I hated that answer, yet I knew Marcus was completely correct. Olivia arrived 20 minutes later. What has happened? I handed my phone to Olivia. Olivia read through the messages without speaking a single word. After a minute passed, she lifted her gaze toward me. Ethan, please avoid making any permanent decisions tonight. Why not? Anger pushes you to make choices you cannot reverse. I want justice to be served. Justice is not the same thing as revenge. I want Claire exposed to everyone. I want the truth revealed. I want Ryan to face punishment for what he has done. Then let the evidence speak for itself. I nodded in understanding. Olivia gently touched my shoulder. Do not turn into someone you hate just because someone betrayed you. I glanced back at the messages once more. I will prioritize protecting myself first. That is the correct decision to make. I called Claire on the phone. Come over to my apartment right now. What? I know everything about Ryan. Silence filled the call. Ethan, please listen to me. Come over. I can explain everything to you. I want to hear your explanation in person. Claire arrived 20 minutes later. She stepped inside slowly. Ethan. I placed my phone flat on the table. Read these messages. Claire glanced at the screen. I can explain. Read them all. I was terrified of losing everything. Read every word. Claire picked up my phone. Tears appeared in her eyes instantly. Ethan. I never intended to hurt you. You planned to marry me to get my money. No. The messages prove exactly that claim. I was desperate to secure my future. You loved Ryan. Yes. That single word struck harder than any scream could. And the baby. Claire covered her face with her hands. Ethan, whose baby is this? Claire broke down crying. Ryan's. My knees nearly buckled underneath me. Say it clearly out loud. The baby belongs to Ryan. I stepped backward away from her. How long has this affair lasted? Months. Before I left for my work assignment. Yes. Even before the pregnancy began. Yes. The room began spinning around me. Why did you choose to stay with me? I thought you would choose to forgive me. You thought I would fund your life with Ryan. I thought you loved me enough to stay beside me no matter what. I did love you once. Claire sobbed loudly. I know that was the core of all our problems. Claire reached out to grab my hand. I never planned to hurt you this badly. You lied to me every single day. I was constantly afraid. You used fear as an excuse to destroy my life. I am truly sorry. Sorry cannot erase all of these lies. Someone knocked on the front door. Claire turned her head toward the entrance. I opened the door. Ryan stood outside the hallway. Ryan stared directly at me. We need to talk. I have nothing to say to you. Ryan pushed his way into the apartment. You need to remain quiet about all of this. I stared at Ryan in shock. Excuse me? If you expose our secret, Claire will lose everything she has worked for. That sounds like your problem to solve. Ryan stepped closer to threaten me. You have no idea who you are dealing with. I know enough of the truth. You will destroy an entire family. You destroyed the relationship I shared with Claire. Ryan's jaw tightened in anger. Keep your mouth shut, Ethan. Fear flickered inside me, yet rage burned far hotter. No. Ryan stared me down. You should think carefully about your next move. I have already considered every possibility. I lifted my phone. I have saved every message and document as proof. Ryan's face turned pale. I smiled without any happiness in my expression. Now I hold something neither of you can control, the truth. I looked toward Claire. Did you ever genuinely love me? Yes. Then why was I only a piece of your pre-planned scheme? I do not have an answer for that. That response is not enough for me. I gathered all the evidence spread on the table. I am ending this relationship completely. Please do not leave me. I am walking away because every part of our story was built on deception. Ryan stepped forward. Think about how this will ruin your reputation. Do not attempt to threaten me. I am warning you one last time. I am finished living in fear. Marcus moved to stand beside me. Ryan, leave this apartment immediately. Ryan glared at Marcus. This conflict is not over between us. It is finished for me. I opened the front door. Get out of my home. Ryan hesitated for a moment, then walked outside. Claire followed him toward the doorway. At the threshold, Claire paused and looked back. I'm sorry. I believe you feel regret, but I am not coming back. The door closed shut. I stood all alone. Silence felt far better than love built upon endless falsehoods. I saved copies of every file and sent them to Nathan. Afterward, I deleted Claire's phone number from my contacts. I was furious, but I remained standing strong. Tomorrow, I would decide exactly what to do with all the uncovered truth. I woke before sunrise and discovered a new message from Ryan waiting on my phone screen. You have until tonight to stay silent. I stared at the words until anger replaced all lingering fear. I typed a reply, you cannot control me. Ryan called me immediately afterward. Ethan, listen carefully to what I am about to say. I am listening. You cannot ruin Claire's life. Ryan already destroyed my life. You can simply walk away from all of this. I am walking away from Claire. I refuse to accept responsibility for a child that is not mine. Do you believe money can fix everything? I believe the truth will set everything straight. Ryan's voice hardened. You cannot imagine what happens if everyone learns the truth. I know exactly what will happen. People will finally hear the truth. You will regret every choice you make. I already regret trusting Claire with my whole heart. The call ended. I set down my phone and took a deep breath. My hands still shook slightly, yet my decision felt clear and unshakable. Claire arrived before breakfast the next day. Please let me explain everything to you. I have listened to far too many explanations already. I only made one terrible mistake. One mistake. Claire's eyes filled with tears. I was terrified of the consequences. You lied about the pregnancy. I panicked when I realized I was pregnant. You lied about Ryan. I know you planned to marry me for my savings. Claire covered her face with her hands. I hated myself for creating that plan. I looked away because part of me still remembered the version of Claire before all the deception started. I recalled Claire laughing in my kitchen, holding my hand during storms, promising love meant full honesty. I loved you, I whispered quietly. I know that is why all of this hurts so deeply. Please find it in your heart to forgive me. I do not know if I am capable of that. You do not have to forget everything. I cannot forget the lies. Claire stepped closer to my position. Give me one more chance to make things right. I cannot raise Ryan's child as my own. I never demanded you to do that. You constructed your entire plan around that possibility. Claire cried harder. I was wrong about everything. Yes, I am truly sorry. I believe your apology is sincere. Claire looked hopeful for a second. However, forgiveness cannot rebuild the relationship we once shared. Claire lowered her eyes in sadness. Then what future waits for me? You must face the natural consequences of every choice you made. I called Dr. Daniel Hayes that afternoon. Dr. Hayes, I need you to review the medical timeline for me. I remember Claire's case clearly. Can the dates prove the pregnancy could not have begun while I stayed in Boston? Yes. Based on all records you provided, the estimated conception date falls during your confirmed absence. So Claire's original story was completely impossible. Correct. I closed my eyes slowly. Thank you for confirming that. There is another detail you need to hear. What is it? Pregnancy estimates are not perfectly precise. But the gap between these dates is far too large to support her original claim. That information is enough for me. I ended the call. Later that day, Grace arrived at my apartment. Ethan, Claire told me you two had a serious argument. I laid all the evidence out on the table. Grace, you deserve to learn the whole truth. Grace picked up the first message. What is all of this? Conversations between Claire and Ryan. Grace kept reading silently. No, I am so sorry. This cannot possibly be real. I wish it were not true. Grace found the hotel booking records. Ryan stayed in Miami as well? Yes. During Claire's vacation trip? Yes. Grace covered her mouth in shock. Claire told me Ethan abandoned her. I never abandoned Claire at all. I understand that now. Grace continued reading through all documents. She lied to me as well. I did not want to cause you pain. You did not hurt me, Ethan. Claire is the one who chose to lie. Grace sat down heavily on the chair. What about the baby? Ryan is the biological father. Grace closed the folder slowly. I cannot believe my own daughter would do something like this. I cannot believe it either. Grace looked toward me with tear-filled eyes. Did Claire ever truly love you? I believe she did. That makes this whole tragedy even worse. I agree with you. Grace left after promising she would speak honestly with Claire. That evening, Nathan contacted me again. Ethan, I uncovered new information about Ryan. What news? Ryan is nearly bankrupt. I sat up straight in my chair. How serious is his financial situation? Very serious. Ryan has multiple unpaid loans and a failing business. And Claire? Claire's financial documents show plans to open a joint bank account after marriage. My stomach tightened once more. Ryan was counting entirely on my money to solve his debts. Yes. Can you prove this connection? I already collected all supporting documents. Nathan sent the files to my inbox. I opened them and saw projected living expenses, debt repayments, and fund transfers linked to Ryan. I let out a humorless laugh. So I was never meant to be the father. I was simply their funding source. That sentence hurt deeper than any other revelation. Ryan called again shortly after. Ethan, we need to reach a settlement. There is nothing to negotiate between us. You can still protect Claire from ruin. I am protecting myself now. Think about what this will do to Claire's reputation. Think about what your choices will do to Ryan. Silence fell over the line. You found out all of our secrets. I found absolutely everything. You do not fully understand the situation. I understand perfectly. I never wanted any of this chaos. You wanted access to my savings. I wanted a stable future. You wanted my future for yourself. Ryan fell silent. I will not give Ryan a single dollar. You cannot do this to us. I have already made my decision. I terminated the call. Claire sent one final text message. Please come back to me. I stared at those words for a long time, then deleted the message entirely. For months, Claire and Ryan believed I would become trapped by guilt, love, and responsibility. Now their carefully crafted plan was collapsing. My fears slowly faded away, and anger transformed into inner strength. I did not need to destroy them completely. I only needed to stop shielding them from the truth. For the first time since I returned home, I felt a sense of freedom. The next morning, I met Ryan outside his office building. Why are you here? I wanted Ryan to hear this directly from me. I have nothing left to say to you. I will not take responsibility for the child. Claire needs financial support. Claire chose Ryan over everyone else. You are trying to punish Claire for her mistakes. No, I am refusing to be exploited. Ryan stepped closer to threaten me. Do you believe you are better than the two of us? No. I simply know where my responsibility ends. What about Claire's public reputation? Claire's reputation is not my burden to carry. Ryan clenched both fists tightly. You will regret exposing all of this information. I have saved every single document as evidence. You will ruin everything. I am not destroying anything. I am simply telling the truth to everyone. Ryan looked away from my gaze. You stole Claire away from me. No. I finally discovered that Claire was never mine to keep in the first place. That sentence surprised even myself. I spent countless days dreaming about revenge. Standing face to face with Ryan, I realized revenge was no longer necessary. Ryan already lost the future he craved. Claire already lost every bit of my trust. Money could never repair what had been broken. I walked away without engaging in any further argument. When I reached my car, Olivia called my cell phone. How are you feeling? Different. Different in what way? Less broken inside. That sounds like genuine progress. I packed the last box before sunrise. My apartment looked empty, yet my mind felt crowded with memories. Marcus stood near the doorway. Are you certain you want to leave this place? I need to live somewhere Claire's voice cannot reach me. Marcus nodded in understanding. I can help you carry all the boxes. I have already finished packing everything. I lifted the final container and placed it beside the entrance door. This is the end of this chapter. Time to start over. My phone vibrated. Claire is calling. I stared at the screen. Answer her. No. Another call arrived, followed by a third. Marcus looked over at me. Claire will keep calling nonstop. I know. Are you planning to block her contact? Not yet. Why hold off? Part of me still hopes to receive a sincere apology. The phone stopped ringing. A message popped up on the screen. Please talk to me. I closed my eyes. I hate that I still care about her. Marcus stepped closer to me. Caring about someone does not mean you have to return to them. I know, yet I still secretly hope Claire will say something that makes all this pain fade away. That is exactly what you wish for. Marcus sighed softly. Then wait to have that final conversation when you are fully ready. I moved into a small apartment across town that afternoon. The place was plain, quiet, and completely mine. I opened the windows and let cool morning air fill every room. I bought an affordable table, 2 chairs, and a small plant for the kitchen area. None of these items were special or luxurious. Yet every single choice belonged to me alone. I realized how much of my old life revolved around keeping Claire happy. Now I could make decisions without worrying whether Claire would approve. This simple freedom felt unfamiliar, yet it marked the start of healing. For months, I struggled to fall asleep, waiting for another lie to surface. Now I slept peacefully through the night. The next morning, Claire called again. Ethan, please. I answered the call. What do you want? I want another chance with you. That cannot happen. Please listen to me. I have listened for months already. I made terrible mistakes. Claire made conscious choices. I know you chose Ryan. I know you chose money. I know you chose to lie repeatedly. Claire fell quiet. I thought I could fix all the damage I caused. You cannot reverse what you destroyed. I deeply regret everything. I believe you mean that. Then why will you not come back to me? Regret cannot rebuild lost trust. I still love you. I love you too. I am trying to learn how to live without Claire in my life. Ethan, please do not say those words. I have to accept reality. Claire cried quietly on the line. I am truly sorry. I know that. I never wanted events to turn out like this. You wanted financial security above all else. Yes. That honest admission hurt more than any additional lie. I wanted security more than genuine love. I stared at the blank wall. Thank you for finally admitting the truth. I thought Ethan would never investigate our secrets. That was the foundation of your plan. I believed love would make Ethan accept everything without questioning. Now I understand how wrong I was. I cannot return to you. I understand. The call ended. Later that same day, Ryan called my phone. Ethan. Claire needs help. Ryan chose to leave Claire. I had no other choice. What? The marriage plan fell apart. There is nothing left for me to gain. So Ryan only stayed for the scheme. No. That reply came far too quickly. Ryan fell silent. You wanted my money all along. I hoped to build a stable future. A future funded by my savings. I made many mistakes. You both made terrible choices. I am finished with all of this. Then stay finished. Ryan ended the call. That evening, Grace visited my new apartment. Ethan, may I come inside? Yes. Grace sat across from me. I owe you an apology. You do not need to apologize. I do. Grace lowered her gaze toward the floor. I defended Claire because I trusted her version of events. You were protecting your own daughter. I accused you of abandoning Claire. I remember that clearly. I was wrong about you. You did not know the truth back then. I should have asked you for your side of the story. I understand completely. Grace wiped away a tear. I feel ashamed of everything. Please do not carry Claire's poor choices as your burden. But I made your pain worse with my assumptions. I forgive you. Grace looked surprised. You truly do? Yes. What? Because I refuse to let anger control my entire life. Grace nodded slowly. You sound different than before. I am a changed man. After Grace left, Marcus called to check on me. How are you holding up? Better. Better is enough progress. I keep thinking about revenge. Now I no longer crave it. Marcus smiled gently. That is how you survive betrayal. You survive without turning into a bitter person. I looked around my new apartment. I once thought surviving meant forcing Claire to regret losing me. No. Surviving means building a life Claire cannot destroy. I remained silent and Marcus continued speaking. Your future belongs solely to you now. Thank you. 3 days later, I agreed to meet Claire one final time. We sat together inside a quiet cafe. Claire looked exhausted. I almost canceled this meeting. I nearly canceled too. Thank you for coming. I need closure for both of us. I need closure as well. I rested my hands flat on the table surface. Tell me everything without making excuses for yourself. Claire nodded slowly. I wanted financial security. I know. I was terrified of losing my comfortable lifestyle. You could have asked me directly for help. I felt too ashamed to be honest. Therefore, Claire chose deception instead of communication. Yes. Why did you choose Ryan? I believed Ryan understood me. Did Ryan love you? I cannot be certain. Did Claire love me? Claire looked directly into my eyes. Yes. Then why did you betray me? Because I finally realized just how valuable I truly was. My phone vibrated one final time, yet I made no move to check the screen. I already held every single truth I needed to understand. I gazed out at the sprawling glow of city lights and drew in a steady breath. I made it through all of this. Those 4 words sounded plain on the surface, yet they carried endless weight. I endured layer after layer of carefully crafted lies. I pushed through the crushing agony of a broken heart. I fought through the boiling rage that lingered for weeks on end. I resisted the urge to let resentment twist my whole personality. More than anything, I came out of this ordeal without losing sight of who I am. When dawn arrived the next day, I woke up far earlier than usual and headed out for a run. The crisp morning air nipped at my skin, yet a weight lifted from my chest. I ran past the park where Olivia and I strolled once I uncovered the full betrayal. I slowed down and halted beside a familiar wooden bench. A piece of advice Olivia shared on that day echoed clearly inside my mind. Never let Claire shape who Ethan grows into. I finally chose to take her words to heart. I headed back to my apartment and prepared a simple breakfast. I opened my laptop and settled in to focus on my work. A brand new future stood right in front of me. It was not the future Claire imagined for herself. It had nothing to do with Ryan's plans or desires. It was not the fake life Claire designed to feed off my savings. This future belonged only to me. A quiet smile tugged at my lips as I dove back into my tasks. For the first time in months, I felt no urge to glance over my shoulder. I no longer craved revenge against those who deceived me. I did not wait around hoping for another half-hearted apology. I did not long to watch Claire comprehend everything she threw away. All I needed was to acknowledge what I had earned in this painful journey. I found genuine peace within my own mind. I found the bravery to step into an unknown tomorrow. I found confidence to trust my own judgment and instincts. Most precious of all, I built a life that no one else could manipulate. This was the kind of justice I had always wanted. This was the ending I picked for myself. As the sun dipped below the horizon, I shut my laptop and walked outside. Warm golden streetlights lit up every stretch of the road ahead. I kept walking straight forward without a single backward glance. There was no reason to look back anymore. Surviving hardship was never about ruining the people who betrayed me.